And that's where antiperspirant, antibacterial technology is very important to prevent those sweat patches.
Not going to give the smoothie bowl to that. Yes. Hey doc, it started like such a bright and sunny day today and then a little bit gloomy. But I think it's the right time to talk about roll-ons, don't you think so?
It's the absolute right time. We started sunny, then moved into humid, all of which is going to cause sweating. So
Yes.
it's a perfect time to talk about it.
I agree. So let's start with some questions. I have so many questions about roll-ons being there in the market and being so buzzy right now. Like I just want to talk about roll-ons.
Right.
So let's deep dive into roll-ons and understand a bit.
Let's do it. Yeah.
So my first question is, roll-ons, are they safe to use on skin? Because, people directly apply them on their skin. So they wonder, I'm sure. So what is the right kind of roll-ons that an Indian skin type should be using?
So first of all, I just want to say roll-ons are completely safe to use. I think a lot of the safety notions came from the past when they were very heavy in alcohol.
Yes.
The second thing is that, people are used to either using mist or roll-on, but today the buzzword is roll-on and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
In all the roll-ons that are available, you have to look at 3 or 4 things to ensure safety. One is that, it has to be, like I said, preferably alcohol-free because that protects your skin in any case. Secondly, is it dermatologically tested? Because roll-on skin is also on underarm skin, which is part of your skin.
Correct.
So it's not like you're putting it on any other body part. Skin has to be something that is suitable for
You
me.
want to take the precaution.
Correct. Therefore, something that is dermatologically formulated, also formulated specially for Indian skin, right? Because different skin types are there. What suits a Westerner skin type or a Korean skin type is not going to suit us. And many of us travel abroad. We tend to buy products abroad, but it's very good to buy such products which are on intimate body parts in India because it really suits us.
And it should be credible. Like, people should
You should buy it from a brand which is completely credible, where you can transparently trust the information they're putting out to you. So I think these are the ways to make that roll-on really, really safe for your skin.
So another question, just to follow up on that, there is something called the Freshen Cap technology that is existing in a lot of roll-ons. So what is your take on Freshen Cap technology?
I absolutely love this technology and I'll tell you why. Initially, when we use mists or the early roll-ons as well, you would get a fragrance which is pretty good in the morning, right? When you leave the house. So someone like me leave the house at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm out all day long and I'm not somewhere where I can keep touching up my underarm application. Now, what Freshen Cap technology does is that there are little bubbles which have the fragrance encapsulated in it. And most interestingly, when I'm moving, like if I'm giving a talk now or I'm traveling by public transport, I'm holding on to the strap, during movements and friction is when it releases the fragrance. And that's when you want it released, right? So right through the day, you keep getting these little micro bursts of fragrance, which then keep me feeling fresh. So I just absolutely love the
You
technology.
wouldn't want to stay fresh throughout the day. I mean, that's an amazing technology. So you're being very transparent about the fact that a roll-on should have a technology like this. It
Correct.
does help in a different way. Another question, how do I choose the right roll-on for my Indian skin type? Because you mentioned that,
Right.
odour obviously would be
Absolutely. It is different because, see, sweat itself has no smell at all.
Yes.
If you take pure sweat from anyone, there's no smell. What causes the odor is the interaction of the bacteria with the sweat. And specifically in the underarms, you've got 2 kinds of sweat glands. The apocrine sweat glands, which are unique to the underarms and other folds, they tend to produce a sweat which has more free fatty acids, more lipids. It's almost like a smoothie for the bacteria, So when they drink that smoothie, they tend to cause more odor.
Yeah.
And therefore, looking at what is an antibacterial property of your roll-on is very important. The third thing is a protection to the skin, right? And we keep talking about this vitamin F these days.
Yeah.
Vitamin F
Very
actually
trendy word.
protects your skin. It's not a true vitamin, but the ingredients protect your skin and improve the barrier. Therefore, looking for these properties in your roll-on is super critical.
I'd like to mention just now about vitamin F. Can you expand a little more about vitamin F? Because you mentioned it's not a vitamin,
Right.
like you said.
So vitamin F actually is a phrase given to 2 essential fatty acids, linoleic acid and gamma-linolenic acid. Now, they're called essential because the body needs them, the skin needs them, but it doesn't produce them. So either we have to get it through our diet, which means we have to eat large quantities of almonds or borage oil, which is very difficult for us, or you get it from your products itself. It's very popular in skincare creams for the face, but I'm very happy to see it's now getting extended to other critical body parts like underarms.
Oh, so roll-ons as well, right?
Roll-ons as well.
Some
absolutely.
roll-ons in the market as well. Okay. Another question. Some people sweat more than others. Like you mentioned, there are 2 types of sweat glands. So is that something that differentiates why they sweat more?
Yes, it does. See, sweat is governed by many things. One is, genetics. All of us are born with a certain number of sweat glands. We tend to sweat more. Second is hormones, especially apocrine sweat glands are influence of hormones. Thirdly, diet itself. Any community where more spicy food is eaten, like Indian food, Egyptian food, Mexican food, which are more spicy in nature, they tend to promote more sweat. And the last and most important one for me, stress. Very often before an examination, I had a patient who once told me she couldn't hold a pen while writing because the pen kept slipping because of sweat.
Right.
And especially underarms, palms, these are areas which are more prone to stress-induced sweating. Therefore, all of these factors govern how much I sweat versus how much you sweat.
I completely agree with the example you given. Even like business meetings, for example.
Correct.
Right before you are stepping into a meeting, I feel like you start sweating. And then you're so prepared, and then suddenly you're just like, oh my God, I'm sweating. Now I'm underconfident.
And the interesting thing about that is you get these sweat patches. And that's where antiperspirant, antibacterial technology is very important to prevent those sweat patches.
Not going to give the smoothie bowl to that. Yes. So moving on to another question. So do men and women require different types of roll-ons or the same type of roll-ons?
See, in terms of the sweat, there is no difference, but there is obviously a sensorial difference in the fragrances that men like and women like. And also in the underarms, where apocrine sweat glands could be a little bit more under male hormone influence. A male fragrance obviously helps to, keep that under control. So while I would say the sweat itself doesn't differ, I would look at a different aesthetic for men and women.
I'd like to pick up a line that you said earlier, men perspire, women just glow.
It is so true, in ancient England, they used to say that men perspire, but women just get a glow on their skin. Today, of course, we're more gender equal, so everybody perspires.
Again, a follow-up question to what we just discussed. Alcohol-free roll-ons in men or women type, whatever type of roll-ons they are using. What is it that is important? Should we use alcohol-free roll-ons, or is it okay to have alcohol in your?
See, I always recommend alcohol-free because alcohol increases the sensitivity of the skin. And we know that underarms is a sensitive area. Right? I'll give you an example. Even toners today for the skin, we prefer alcohol-free because wherever you think the skin requires a little bit more care, the skin inherently is more sensitive, you would always go for an alcohol-free formulation. So that is the one I recommend even in roll-ons.
And just adding on to what you've said also, what do you think about the effectiveness? Does that affect the effectiveness of the roll-on? Like in case if I don't have alcohol in my roll-on, would that change the effectiveness of the roll-on?
No, because alcohol has nothing to do with effectiveness. It's the overall formulation that matters. A lot of people think the stinging that they get means it's effective, but actually that's not true. Some of the best skincare products are the ones which are most gentle on your skin. Therefore, I would recommend an alcohol-free roll-on, which would also give you great effectiveness.
Same type of effectiveness.
Absolutely.
Changes on that. I'll just move on to a different question that I also have noted down that I feel like we can also discuss. So before we wrap up, there is something that you had mentioned so many times that has gone viral on Instagram, I would say. Insensible sweating. What is that? Do you want to expand more on it? I know the audience for Engage knows what's insensible sweating now, but do you want to expand more on the idea of insensible sweating?
Absolutely. I love teaching people about insensible sweating because most of us are not aware of it. See, we only think that sweat is what we see or what we feel as wetness, right?
Yeah.
But actually we're sweating all day long, and that is what is called insensible sweating, which doesn't actually come as a sheen on the skin.
Yeah.
But especially in areas like underarms, groin, sometimes sides of the neck, sometimes even on the face, there is always sweat glands which are active and producing sweat. If we don't control it through something that acts through the day, this insensible sweating itself becomes a fertile ground for bacteria to start multiplying it. Therefore, be aware very sensibly about your insensible sweating, and then you will definitely adopt a roll-on.
I completely agree. And I think that's a wrap because that was a great session and understanding about roll-ons. Follow Engage to know more.
Thank you so much.